I wanted to ask you, on that day, there were absolutely people who broke the law, who trespassed, who committed acts of violence. But there were a lot of people who I think Americans think were unjustly charged and prosecuted, and some of them, a few of them are still being held in jail. Do you have any updated numbers regarding those folks, whose prosecution is moving along, anything like that?
Yeah, this is a tragic situation, and it's heartbreaking. This is something that I've been attacking the FBI, the Department of Justice, the jail, the DC jail here, and other jails. These people are truly being persecuted. And Amanda, you are right. Some of these people on January 6th did commit violence. They did break the law. And of course, they have been charged and prosecuted. But there's a lot of people that have been targeted simply because they walked through the Capitol on January 6th. And this is our real concern with the videotapes. If we release these videotapes just widely for the public, number one, we put the security of the Capitol at risk because there's over 1,700 video cameras. Number two, we also endanger many Americans that were simply standing on the Capitol grounds, maybe never even walked through the Capitol or committed any crimes, but they could have just walked further than where the barrier was simply because the barrier was torn down by the time they got there. Most of these people have never even or had never even been to Washington, D.C. until that day on January 6th. So there was no way for them to know that they had crossed a barrier because it was all torn down. There's a big concern because there's George Soros funded groups and many other leftist groups that will sit there and view these videotapes for hours and hours using facial recognition software and dox these people and hand them over to the FBI and the Department of Justice, who we have no control over. And so this could be really endangering more Americans to be targeted by the weaponized government from the Biden regime, and we just don't want that to happen. But right now, we know there's several dozen January 6th defendants still here in the D.C. jail, but there's more January 6th defendants all over the country still awaiting trial. And sadly, Amanda, Matthew Graves, the U.S. attorney here in Washington, D.C., that ignores 67% of the crime here in Washington, D.C., but has weaponized his office at the Department of Justice to purely target these January 6 defendants. He's going to arrest another 1,000 more. So this is a very grave situation, and this is why it's so important that we rein in this out of control weaponized government, because it's truly a threat to American democracy.